In July of 2020, law enforcement followed a fellow by the name of Wesley Little. He had kidnapped a teenage girl and he went to a house that he had been a handyman at. This wasn't his house. The owner of the house was in Montana. Now, Little ended up releasing the girl, but he holed up inside of this woman's home. Her name is Vicki Baker. This is in McKinney, Texas. They had to get him out. They were handed the code and the garage door opener to the house by the daughter of this woman because she was the one that called the cops. Vicki Baker's daughter had called the cops, said, "This is what, something's not right." SWAT shows up. They threw in multiple tear gas. They're saying 30 tear gas grenades inside the home and smashed into the house with a Bearcat. Now, of course, all this damage being done because it's not the homeowner's fault that this was going on because this guy was a criminal. He was trying to run from the cops and he went somewhere that he thought that they wouldn't follow him. Well, this woman's wanting to know what to do because insurance companies wouldn't pay for it because government did it. Government wouldn't pay for it. She had just fixed up the house because she was thinking about putting it on the market, and it turned into this. So I've got two clips here. Both of them are actually from WFAA, which is a news channel down in Texas. The first one is from 2 years ago, and the next one is from just a couple of days ago. It's gone through the court systems for all this time. So you're going to hear Woodall, and they're now having to pay not only the court cost, but they're also having to pay damages to this woman finally. So I'm wanting to hear your opinion on this, but let's let you see some of this real quick. And I just gave you the facts that they don't talk about in the videos. Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
They basically surrounded the house.
When police trash your property,
the damage to the home was extensive.
In the name of the law,
they used approximately 30 tear gas canisters.
Who pays the bill?
They used a small bomb on my garage door, and they blew that off.
WFAA has been asking that question as we shine a light on sovereign immunity in Texas. We found that for a number of property owners, the answer, when police do something like this, they're often left holding the bag.
They said, "I'm sorry, we did not pay for active government."
That's what Vicki Baker's insurance told her when McKinney police raided her home in July 2020, causing extensive damage.
Personally, I think it was close to $70,000.
The department subduing a suspect who had barricaded himself in Baker's home while she was in Montana. After the dust settled, she was left covering 2/3 of the damage roughly.
I don't know how they've been getting away with it all of these years.
But Baker found a way through the courts, unlike so many others we've spoken with.
What happened to us is a third world.
The insurance company said it was an act of the government, that they would not pay for it.
Close to $250,000, and that includes business interruption.
And is on the path right now to being made whole.
I believe we won because God is on our side.
All right,
So let's talk about sovereign immunity. It's a phrase from medieval times meaning the king can do no wrong. And sometimes it's called qualified immunity. Either way, all you need to know, in Texas, it is a thing. The state, a city, or a police department cannot be sued successfully in our courts without the legislature's consent. So people who have had their homes or their property trashed in the name of the law, like Baker here, struggle to get fully compensated because sovereign immunity, it's there.
The real strategy here was to pretty much sidestep immunity entirely.
Enter Jeffrey Redfern from the Institute for Justice in Virginia. He's Baker's attorney and sued the city of McKinney in federal court for damages. But instead of challenging sovereign immunity,
Our whole theory here is that this is a taking, just like eminent domain.
he argued McKinney owes Baker money through eminent domain. You've probably heard that phrase before. Governments and private companies commonly use it to acquire or use someone's land or property for the betterment of the public, as long as the landowner or property owner is compensated. So Redfern told the judge the city had a legal right to, quote, take Baker's home during the raid for public use, but that she should be compensated fairly under the Fifth Amendment. And it worked.
Courts have said, look, when the issue is the government took your property intentionally for some public use, the Constitution says what happens. It says that you get just compensation.
In the summer of last year, a federal jury awarded Baker almost $60 grand. The city of McKinney is appealing, and now the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit is getting ready to hear the case. What they decide could be big for taxpayers who find themselves in a situation like Baker's. It might even be a blueprint for other attorneys to follow. The city of McKinney not commenting to us due to the appeal.
Whether it's this case or some other case, I do think this issue is going to end up in the Supreme Court in the next few years.
But if you ask Baker,
So they've got the money, is what I'm saying, because they are fighting with that money.
this all could have been avoided. The time in court, the attorney's fees, if the city, she says, just did the right thing from the get-go.
Why not give that money to individuals that they've harmed?
In McKinney, I'm Matt Howerton.
She was not at home when a SWAT team tore through her house, but she was there for every moment after. And now, years of fighting in court ends with a judge saying the city of McKinney must pay an 81-year-old woman for the damage police caused to her home. This is a landmark win, according to our Matt Howerton, who's been following the case since it was filed in 2021. It is also a ruling that could ripple far beyond one North Texas street.
This is a case that will help not just me, but a lot of people. And that's why we continued to fight.
And Vicki Baker didn't ask to fight, but when the city of McKinney wouldn't make her whole after a SWAT team wrecked her home searching for a fugitive in 2020, the cancer survivor put on the gloves, not just for her house, but for this principle. You break it, you fix it.
And I had just paid all of this money to fix up my house, to put it on the market.
She filed a lawsuit in 2021, the road anything but smooth, a win at trial, a loss on appeal, and the U.S. Supreme Court declining to hear her case. But last week, a federal judge took another look.
But we went back down to the trial court, and the trial court said, well, that's fine, but you still win under the Texas Constitution.
Baker's attorney, Jeffrey Redfern, made the same argument under both the U.S. and Texas constitutions. If the government destroys your home, it's no different than taking it under the Fourth Amendment, and Baker should be paid. The U.S. Constitution didn't help her, but the Texas Constitution did.
If you're taking their property and you're not paying them for it, you're not doing a very good job as a government.
We began reporting on these cases in 2020, including one of the only wins from attorney Michael Lamson in the state. In Houston in 1980, police let a home burn during a standoff with 3 fugitives.
It was actually very similar to Vicki Baker's case.
The Texas Supreme Court ruling in favor of the homeowners. That case, decades old, became precedent, and now McKinney has been ordered to pay Baker nearly $60,000 for her damage.
They have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, and they could have gotten off with paying me, $60,000.
Cities in Texas have long dodged payouts like this by citing sovereign immunity, a legal doctrine making them immune from lawsuits unless waived. Redfern didn't challenge that. He just went around it. The city of McKinney telling us it's evaluating its options for appealing this ruling.
And I really would like to see this resolved.
Baker didn't just get a W. She cracked open a door for others who haven't found a way in. In McKinney, I'm Matt Howerton.
You heard all that. Now, you tell me, do you think that it's right that you can't get the insurance companies to pay for what happened? It's obviously not her fault. So you can't get the SWAT team to take care of it. You can't get the government to take care of it. You can't get the insurance to take care of it. What's the money to do? You're talking about $70,000 damage to this one house, and there are multiple houses that have had this happen to them. So what do you think? Do you think that somebody should pay? Do you think that insurance companies should it be fixed so that insurance companies take care of this and deal with whatever's got to be taken care of? Because it's homeowners insurance. That's supposed to be what they're there for. And this isn't exactly something that you have planned, especially like Miss Baker here, who, you don't plan on having somebody that you had hired as a handyman so you could fix a house up to sell it to end up running there with a kidnapped teenage girl and SWAT having to deal with him. You don't plan for that. I mean, who does? So, this is, in all honesty, since it's taxpayers that end up having to pay this bill, especially if this becomes a, nationwide, hey, this is the way that it's supposed to be done, the taxpayer is going to have to pay this bill. So what do you think? Who do you think is supposed to help these homeowners in this, especially if the homeowners did nothing wrong? That's the key point here. If the homeowners do nothing wrong, and this is what happens to their property, who do you think should be paying for it? This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.